Thank you for viewing another AASCU advocacy training video. I am John Patrick Walsh, Director of Federal Relations and Policy Analysis, and today we will be covering how best to advocate before a divided Congress. During this video, we will cover how to effectively introduce regional comprehensive universities to a divided Congress and educate them on the successes and challenges facing RCUs. At the end, we will list additional resources that can be found on the newly redesigned AASCU website. AASCU has previously defined our member institutions by what they are not, but the lack of a federal definition for regional comprehensive universities requires that you educate your elected officials and their staff about the common mission and values that bind RCUs. Start by sharing RCU's commitment to serving their local communities as academic, economic, and cultural centers. Another example is the solutions-focused applied research our institutions undertake compared to the primary research of R1 universities. Some data points that may help drive your conversations. There are 537 regional comprehensive universities across the United States. They can be found in 49 states, the District of Columbia, and the U.S. territories. RCUs collectively educate 4.9 million undergraduate students and mainly confer bachelor's and master's degrees. Finally, RCUs enroll a disproportionate percentage of low-income, first-generation, persons of color, veteran, and older students that make up higher education's new majority. Over 220 RCUs identify as minority-serving institutions. In addition to sharing the successes and challenges of RCUs, it is important to convey the needs and achievements of your own institution. After all, you and your students are constituents providing a unique perspective and a connection to home. Focusing on how RCUs act as true engines of social and economic mobility for a local community through enrolling higher proportions of in-state students and awarding close to 40% of the nation's undergraduate degrees annually will help cut through partisan concerns and entrenched positions by recentering the conversation on your local impact. Make your elected officials aware of how state investment, lack of direct federal investment in RCUs, and a growing backlog in infrastructure maintenance all contribute to decreased student enrollment and lower completion rates. As you do this, interweave your institution's student aid and achievement data into the discussion and be prepared to discuss these facts and figures with staff and members. They may make your pitch more tangible and personal to those who hear it. Unfortunately, education has become a wedge issue in the culture wars plaguing our present political divide. Both Republicans and Democrats use the policies and funding that sustain our educational institutions to score political points instead of seeking common ground from which to create sorely needed solutions. It is in this environment that you seek to instruct elected officials and their staff who often ask questions or direct conversation in a manner that aligns with their own perspectives or interpretations. Let's review some tips for effectively communicating your message. First, avoid lengthy introductions, a common stalling tactic, as most Hill meetings only take 15 to 20 minutes. Second, start the meeting with a thank you for leadership shown or an action taken on a particular topic. Doing so creates a more genial environment in which to make the ask. Meetings are short. Be concise and stay on message with your requests. Do not be afraid to bring conversations back to the topic at hand by referencing a desire to respect the member of Congress's valuable time and your own. If the conversation begins to stray onto partisan topics or someone becomes long-winded, redirect the conversation to your student or programmatic successes. When redirecting those conversations, though, be aware that what you don't say or actively avoid is often heard just as loudly as what you do say. And lastly, save any photos or leave-behinds for the end of a meeting. Members will often skedaddle once introductions and photos have been taken, robbing you of the opportunity to engage them in meaningful dialogue. Some quick do's and don'ts that will help keep your messaging effective while providing increased return on investment for your time. Do stay consistent in your messaging between meetings, and don't overpromise or exaggerate. Staff and offices talk to each other. They will discuss who they met with and what was said. Inconsistencies can lead to poor relationships or declined meetings in the future. Do bring conversations back to your institution's achievements and how your students contribute to the local community. Don't dwell or outright avoid controversial topics. Tie everything back to your district or state. You are a constituent that provides solutions to the challenges facing your community. Do research your elected officials, their backgrounds, what they care about. Don't go into a meeting unprepared or with a preconceived notion of how it will go. You may be surprised by a member's willingness to help or listen when asked by you, the constituent. Do offer to be a subject matter expert or a resource for their future post-secondary questions, and don't make this meeting a one-time event. Invite the member or their staff to visit your campus in the future. Do offer to follow up on questions or concerns that they pose in the meeting, but don't make up answers or agree with vague statements and requests. In closing, we encourage interested members to visit the newly redesigned AASCU website, where the additional resources listed here can be found, including policy briefs and other training videos. We are especially excited about the soon-to-be-launched AASCU Advocacy Center, which will serve as a central repository of information and actionable items to improve your own advocacy efforts. We thank you for watching this video. We appreciate your interest in advocating for regional comprehensive universities, the students that they educate, and the communities they serve. Have a great day.